Everybody, welcome to the Vision Tek YouTube page. My name is Joshua DeAndre. I'm going to be going over my photo manipulation with Photoshop project. Again, not a tutorial. I'm just going to show you the basic things I did to get from here, this image of me on a green screen, to actually this. So yeah, there's a big difference here. I do not have the Photoshop project file. I have actually lost it within my machine, but I do have screenshots of all my progress that I've done. So let's start from the beginning. So just from the beginning, I went through a few tutorials on how to do like the brushes of spears and energy blasts, and just I worked with these. I added more swirls of ellipses, and I went from there to here, and then I moved on with more other brushes, things like adding blood streaks, flash lens flares, and adding these blue flashes right here, and just more or less learned how the brush tool worked on its own and how well it did. And this all contributed to this, because this is brushes, 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 and yeah, it just worked out very well. And after first messing with the energy ball, I was able to create something like this with me here holding it as if it's in my hand, and just it took a lot of practice to get up to the final point to where I want it to be. And so we're gonna go over my final image mostly because this is where all the magic happened with it. So I have a green screen image, and I wasn't able to what's known as chroma key the green completely, so I had to go in myself with a brush tool and cut out all the green piece by piece, starting from there to here to there, and I say I did pretty well. And there's the final cutout image. I'd use the grab or lasso tool to grab around a certain area that I only wanted to mark out. So as you can see here, what this means is that I am only able to remove stuff within this area, so I don't accidentally go over here, because if you Command Z on Photoshop, you won't be able to go to the very exact point you want. You may be able to go one step back. So I wanted to be extra careful, and I want to make sure that every stroke of my brush counted to remove things. So that was the final cutout. So then after the cutout, I added my preset of an energy ball that I made from the other swirls that you saw earlier, and I just tweaked it and added some flares around it and put it in front of my hand. Very easy stuff with the color, as you can take notes with all the layers, and simply cropped in a random photo of the city and try to match it with my profiling. And I added what looks like rusted steel, and that's on fire with a big gaping hole in it, and just colored it up the color a bit with that. And this in the back you'll see is actually for later. So again, I kept messing. So this is the original image minus, so ignore this. As you can see, there's an empty sky right here. I wanted to add something here especially, so I added these buildings. I cut out a white photo with a white background of buildings that I just added simply behind. And if I wasn't here right now, if I was to disable this layer, you would see that there's nothing here. But since that I am there, so that's where photo manipulation comes in very key, and it helps out a lot to do certain things. So after some more colorizations, I added fire, and I added a spark here, and added more flames, and then of course I tweaked the up top part a bit, add some brushes on my back, and added this thing here on the bottom. I don't know, just a cool representation of what it would look like if someone, godly was stepped on this planet or something like that, and I just want to make it really a sci-fi feel. So the biggest thing that was a challenge was getting able to add the smoke layers and all these extra things I wanted to use, because of course you can just throw it in there and it'll look good, but it's a matter of manipulating your photo to make it fit, like with that spark here. That could be anything. This fire, these are two different fires that are linking together, and then adding the brushes on my back to not make them look, see, this one looks a little bit okay, but the ones on here on my torso, on the back of my torso, looks really well. And that's something I'm really happy with, that I was able to work at, because I kept messing up over and over. Because let's say if I would make a brush way too long, it would look really stupid. And let's say I accidentally didn't Command Z it and I accidentally add something else, now it stays there until I delete the layer. So I really had to be careful with my lighting and shadowing. And that's what helps with also gradient overlays. If you don't know what those are, you can add an overlay within your image and set it to a certain color so that you're able to get the good balance of shadows. So that's why everything is like more blue-like, a more shadowy blue, which also represents the energy ball there. So I went from here to there with the cutout as well, just showing you there. And with the background in the back, you're able to you're able to show that it looks really smooth. There's an energy ball I built in Photoshop, the original image, and dirt, multiple dirts that I've added within it. And I really wish I could show you the Photoshop layer, but like I said, I lost the project from it being transferred anywhere. But there's a final image. So take it, look at it like this. This stuff is not hard, but you have to have patience and you have to think in your imagination, how do I take this from here and make it into this? You know, how do I get the profile with the cropping? How do I add everything to make it look like something's going down? And I'm really happy with how it came out. I wish that I was able to do more and make it more fancy. Maybe be able to cut out my green a little bit more. But overall, I think it looks really well. So the tutorials that I use, I'll be posting down in the description. And those tutorials you can use for this energy ball here, and maybe how to mess with buildings, make them look damaged, and so on, and how to do gradient overlays, because that's all the main things I had to learn over my 4-week process. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment of a question that you might have or something you're confused about, and I'll hopefully respond, or someone will. But yeah, thanks again. Enjoy.